Welcome to the Township Committee meeting for the Township of Chatham for the evening of December 20th, 2018. Greg, has adequate notice been given?
Yes, adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. Notice was given to both the Chatham Courier and the Morris County Daily Record on December 12th, 2018. Notice was posted on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building on December 12th, 2018. And notice was filed with the Township Clerk on December 12th, 2018.
Very good. Can we please rise for the salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Slade?
Here.
Mr. Kelly?
Here.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Swartz?
Here.
And Mayor Ritter is absent.
Very good. Thank you very much, Greg. We have a couple of items to add to, just one important item to add to the agenda, and that is the announcement of a replacement of, or an addition of our new township administrator. So can I ask for a motion to approve the agenda based on that?
Where are you moving it on the agenda?
We're going to move it to above the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Very good. Okay. So just moving along quickly, I have only one important thing to report today, other than I know we all want to wish Merry Christmas to everybody. Our Senior Center Director, Pam Mansfield, had her last day with us today, and the Board of Trustees of the Senior Center, as well as the entire senior population and everybody in the township that supports our senior population, is eternally grateful to Pam for the work that she's done. The press release says that we are grateful to Pam for her commitment and dedication to fulfilling the center's mission for nearly 14 years. While it is difficult to say goodbye to our talented director, Pam's tenure has been a time of great growth for the center. She has guided the expansion of our programs, increased the number of visits to the center, strengthened connections with donors and supporters, helped to renovate and update the space, and build enduring relationships with the seniors who participate in all of our activities. We will miss her. We wish her well. We are pleased to announce that Julie Reich will take over as executive director in January. She comes to us with a vast amount of experience in the nonprofit realm, most recently serving as Director of Administration for Women Rising Incorporated, prior to that as Director of Special Programs and New Business Development at Sage Elder Care. She will bring a wealth of experience, ideas, and abundance of enthusiasm to the center. This is from Jim Connolly, President of the Board of Trustees of the Senior Center of the Chathams. So if anybody else has any reports in brief, I think we'll just move along.
I actually have two.
Yes.
Two reports. Actually, tonight we had our meeting of the joint court, and as I've said before, it is just I am the bearer of glad tidings and gifts here in this holiday season. The joint court came in under budget again, so another good year for the joint court, serving us well. Probably one of the finest shared services in the state, acknowledged by a lot of people as such. So as they do every year, under budget, they will credit that under budget amount towards next year. Also on the OEM front, due to the hard work of and the good record keeping of our DPW director, Rich Young, and our Chief Miller at the police department, Winter Storm Quinn, and Winter Storm Riley. If you remember back in March, we've received some grants from FEMA. We've gotten final approval, and I don't know if the check has been cashed or hit the bank yet, but it should be coming. A total of $178,000 will be deposited back in the coffers, and you get that because we have an up-to-date emergency operation plan approved by the state, which was approved back in February of this year. You don't get those grants if you don't have it. I just want to thank Chief Miller for working on the appendixes for those for that plan. We put a lot of hard work in early in the year to get that up to date, to get it submitted on time. It was approved by the state, and obviously that's a lot of money coming back to the town. So that's good work on your part, gentlemen. Thank you very much, and good for the town.
Very good. All right, anybody else? Or shall we move quickly along? Terrific. We are now going to introduce Resolution 2018 Pardon me? I didn't hear you, Greg. Oh, a hearing of citizens. Sure, let's do it. We got some citizens here. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about issues which are not topics or scheduled for public hearing tonight. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, speakers are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Surely someone has something to say. Mr. Brower.
Good evening, everybody, in Township Committee. I'd want to take this opportunity to thank the committee for a really productive, splendid year, and also to comment as we go a little bit along, if I can have that privilege of complimenting two people in particular. Before I do that, I have an apology to make. It's being televised tonight. I found that I was hacked on Facebook. I never even know I had an account. And the language that is posted on that is embarrassing. I had nothing to do with it. I'm trying to get it removed, and not too successful so far. But that's just for the record. I would never put anything like that out to the public. I'd like to comment at this point and thank Tom Chickarone for the splendid job that she's done. We started off a very rocky start, didn't we, Tom, 18 years ago or so? And it's become a great relationship. And you've been wonderful for the town and great for the citizens, and I think everybody appreciates that. Well, now, to address the Township Committee, the fact that this past year saw these property acquisitions, and the fact that even with all of this, you've held the taxes in check, and I think even a reduction in tax, this is remarkable. And as we've been talking about it in the town, I don't think there are many communities in the state that have been as successful as we've been. So it's attributable to the 5 members of the committee and the efforts on the part of our engineer and our planner, and of course the township administrator, that we've been able to hold the line. Now, I'd like to point out to the public that the acquisition of properties in the town have been substantial, and they've been so important. If they had not been acquired, there's a potential to change the entire character of the township. The acquisition of the Prudential properties, conceivably, if it hadn't been, now it's open space, a beautiful spot, a buffer as between development on either side of the communities, but the thing that's between Morris Township and Morristown and that whole area up there, this could have gone as many as 600 apartments. The acquisition of the sale of the Averett property to the developer is going to probably, if we look at correctly, we could have upwards of 300 or more apartments there. Just imagine if 1,000 residences, homes, whatever you would, apartment dwellings, hit this town, how it would change and what it would mean to our infrastructure and the cost of running the town. It's amazing. The piece of property that was acquired by the committee, Kevin's leadership, the 7.5 acres on Snake Hill, the action that he took, the leader action among the principals involved in the Averett property sale. When we look at that, it could mean as much as $50 to $80 million of rateables to the town, of which municipality shares 15% of the tax income. That is a tremendous sum of money, considering the fact that that type of development is not apt to create a number of school children within the system. So it's a net plus situation, very much like the Heil property, which has kicked off at least $300,000 a year, and I think it's close to $1 million on the property, the Sterling properties over by the ShopRite. So it's a real credit to the efforts of one man in particular who spearheaded a lot of this efforts, but the fact that the committee backed him up and unanimously went along with all of these changes and improvements in the town. I think that when you stop to think, I want to particularly single out Kevin. and point out that I've known him for years. Man has been in the community for 29 years. I think we've known him for maybe 15, 20 years. And this is a sterling family with high standards, moral commitment, and a standard on principle. It's hard to realize today when you look at what's going on in other forms of government. Kevin stands for what he thinks is right. He stands up and protects the position when he takes it that he feels is worth the effort, not only the effort, but the effort for all of us that he's trying to help. And his leadership as mayor and deputy mayor on the Township Committee in the years is something I think we'd be tremendously appreciative of. And on that basis, I'd like to again thank the committee and our employees of the town for an absolutely tremendous productive effort to make this one of the best towns in the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Brower. Coming from you, that means a lot, and I know there are people throughout our community who value your opinion. Thanks so much. Mr. Miller?
Hi, thank
3
you.
minutes, Dan.
I'll be nice. Dan Miller, Green Village. Bailey, very well said. Very, very well said. And, you know, I thanked Tom a couple weeks ago, and you know, I can't say it better than Bailey did, you know, but you have been an asset to the town, and you'll be sorely missed by many of us, and, you know, we appreciate all the efforts. And I did want to address the committee for a good year, and I wanted to address Kevin in particular. As a resident of Green Village, okay, your efforts have been very appreciated so many times. And, you know, I've been coming around to these meetings, you know, and Bailey knows all the way back to, you know, when we used to meet at the Little Red Schoolhouse. You know, it's been a long time. And I've seen a lot of committees come and go, okay? A lot of committee members come and go. Some good, some not so good. But what's happened many times with committee members here, and I hope it doesn't happen, it didn't happen with this committee, and I hope it doesn't happen with the incoming committee, is Green Village becomes a photo op. And Green Village, you know, becomes a place to show up when it's election time. But Kevin, in your case, that wasn't the case. You know, you always took what our values are out in the village very seriously, and you did everything that you could, you know, to include us equally and fairly in the rest of the community. And for that, we're all very grateful out in Green Village, and thank you for your service, and I hope whatever endeavors come your way in the future, that they make you very happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Patricia Wells from the Chatham Township Historical Society.
And I'm Martha Wells from the Chatham Township Historical Society.
And Kevin has been our liaison to the society for several years now. And we would like to personally thank him on behalf of the society for his guidance, for his efforts on our behalf, and for everything he's done for the Historical Society in the last few years. And as residents of the township, we would like to thank him personally for everything that he has done for the town. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Joe Bezralian, Fairfax Terrace. I think it's not an exaggeration to say that the water will always be a little cleaner, the air will always be a little healthier, and the views will always be a little bit more beautiful, and the taxes will always be a little bit lower than they would have been if it weren't for Kevin Sullivan, the support and love of his family, and Tom Chiccarone, and the whole collaborative effort. There are many things to thank you both for, but I thought I would just keep it short and sweet on that. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Kevin Doherty, Green Village Fire Department. Mr. Chiccarone, we'll miss you. You thought you got rid of me one time as chief, and then I came back. But we had a lot of fun, got a lot done, and we appreciate the support that you've given us over the years. Kevin, the same people, I'm not going to repeat what everybody said, but it's all true. And I can speak for all the emergency services. Having you and the Township Committee behind us and giving us the support makes our job easier, and we greatly appreciate that, and I greatly appreciate all the stuff you did for me when I was chief. And thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Perhaps this will conclude the hearing of citizens. Very good. And so what we will do now, Greg, correct, is introduce Resolution 2018-217. This is a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appointing Robert S. Hoffman as Township Administrator. Shall I read it?
No, it's up to you.
I will read it. Whereas the Township Committee has completed a search process to hire a new Township Administrator, and whereas the Township Committee has determined to offer the position of Township Administrator to Robert S. Hoffman, whereas the Township Committee offered employment to Robert S. Hoffman as Township Administrator, and Mr. Hoffman accepted that offer. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, that Robert Hoffman is hereby appointed as Administrator of the Township of Chatham, effective February 1, 2019, to serve in accordance with the laws of the State of New Jersey and the revised ordinances of the Township of Chatham, 1995, as may be amended from time to time. Be it further resolved that the starting salary for Robert S. Hoffman shall be $175,000 per year, and that he shall receive benefits in accordance with the personnel policy of the Township of Chatham, and as may be set forth in an employment agreement as set forth in the attached letter to Robert C. Hoffman, dated December 20th, 2018, and attached to this resolution. Do I need a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
And a second. Very good.
Mr. Selin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz?
Yes. Consent agenda. Greg, why don't we move on to the consent agenda?
This evening, we have Resolution 2018-212, appointing police sergeant. Resolution 2018-213, promoting assistant foreman. 2018-214, promoting assistant chief operator. And 2018-215, ratifying and approving Teamsters contract.
Do I have a, yes, Tom?
Yep. Before you do, may I
Great.
just mention the names, please? The sergeant being promoted is Officer Dave Weinert. Dave is a longtime member of the department, and these are all going to be effective January 1st. In DPW, Danny McGukin is being promoted to the position of assistant foreman, and in WPC, Matt Miller is being appointed to the position of assistant chief operator for the water pollution control.
That's great.
All
Thank you, Tom.
January 1.
Terrific. All dedicated township personnel. We're very grateful for their service and for their continued service. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
And a second.
Seconded.
Very good.
Mr. Selin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz?
Yes. The next thing on our agenda is a discussion, if any, might be a little bit premature, of our Township Committee schedule for meetings for next year. Are there any glaring issues that would prevent anybody from wanting to look at that?
Just for the record, this will be formally approved at the
Absolutely.
reorganization meeting in January. I just wanted you to have a chance to publicly review it and let me know if you need to make any corrections or amendments to
Terrific.
it.
I never go anywhere, so I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, so then,
The only one here that was really in question, I think, at this point was January, because there turns out to be 5 Thursdays. So the reorg meeting is January 3rd, and then that next meeting isn't until 3 weeks later instead of 2. So I just want to make sure everybody's okay with that.
Does that have?
And Kevin, you don't care.
what we had done,
In the back row.
Yeah, he'll want to put them all on his calendar.
so what we had done in the past was have January be first and third Thursdays, but since the second Thursday of February is that much further from the 17th, when Tom and I reviewed the schedule, we felt that it would be better to have it on the 24th.
The 24th?
If you're all okay with that.
Fine, anybody? I don't see any glaring matters here. And that's great. Okay, so that's a nice matter for discussion. Well then, frankly, I would like to move on to a very, very important matter, and that is Resolution 2018-216, honoring my friend Kevin Sullivan. This is a resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham honoring Kevin M. Sullivan upon his retirement as committee member and mayor of Chatham Township. Whereas Kevin M. Sullivan was elected by the people of Township of Chatham to serve a 3-year term on the Township Committee from 2012 to 2014. Whereas Kevin M. Sullivan was re-elected to a second 3-year term running from 2015 through 2018. And whereas the members of the Township Committee selected Kevin M. Sullivan to serve as mayor of the township for the year 2014 and selected him again in 2015. Whereas Kevin M. Sullivan has served as a member of the Planning Board from 2008 to 2012 and again as the Class 1 member representing the mayor or Class 3 member representing the township from 2016 through 2018. And whereas under the leadership of Kevin M. Sullivan, the township was able to secure funding and in partnership with the County of Morris, the Morris County Parks Commission, the Open Space Institute, and the State of New Jersey Green Acres Program has preserved over 100 acres of the historic Geraldine Dodge estate, known as Giralda Farms, ensuring that this beautiful land will remain as parkland in perpetuity. And whereas Kevin M. Sullivan serves as the Township's Office of Emergency Management Coordinator and has assisted with the reactivation of the Township's Civilian Emergency Response Team, known as CERT. And whereas Kevin M. Sullivan has served his nation as a proud member of the United States Marine Corps, and whereas Kevin M. Sullivan has shared his love of history and its importance for good citizenship with interesting brief lessons at most Township Committee meetings. Whereas Kevin M. Sullivan has exemplified the highest level of integrity and honesty in his position as Township Committee member and mayor and has set an example of community service that is unmatched. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Chatham that we hereby call upon residents to join with us in expressing our sincere appreciation to Kevin M. Sullivan for his distinguished service as committee member and mayor of Chatham Township, and further wish Kevin and Cindy and his family best wishes for health and happiness in the years ahead. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? Or anybody?
You definitely have a motion,
Oh,
but
very
before
good.
you have the motion, I want to say a couple words, if you don't mind. And I want to also thank Kevin and congratulate him for his service to this town for the last 6 years. And he has been a great public servant, and he's been a mentor to me on this committee. And I wish him the best. And also, I'm looking forward to working with him in the future and getting advice from him when we need him, when we need advice, which we do all the time. I'm a proud resident of Chatham Township, partly because of Kevin Sullivan's service to this town. And I want to thank him in front of everyone, and I agree to every single word in that resolution and what was said before us tonight, just a few minutes ago. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Very good.
Mr. Selin?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Schwartz?
I have a conflict of interest.
I'm going to vote yes also, but that was a nice proclamation, which I didn't write, so damn it, I'm going to say the things that I do have to say. This is just a few words. It is not a eulogy, and it is not adding to the long goodbye. It is merely a public thank you, Kevin M. Sullivan. I speak for thousands of grateful Chatham Township residents, past, present, and yes, future, when I thank you from the bottom of our collective heart. The positive mark you have left on this community will last past our time here, past all of our time here. Think only of that phrase we've heard tonight, in perpetuity, folks. For in Kevin's years of leadership from this dais, the land we have been able to set aside under Kevin's watch that will never see a developer's shovel. We thank you for that. We thank you for the phrase, what is the need, at what cost, and what are the alternatives? Please remember this, friends, and never hesitate to ask yourself or me or Kevin, what is the need, at what cost, and what are the alternatives? Kevin has served as a true conservative with a prudent eye towards the stewardship of our residents' tax dollars, and as long as I continue to represent the good people of the Chatham Township, there will always be a conservative financial voice. I have said from election night on that I thank you for your wisdom, for your leadership, and for your friendship, and I am personally grateful that I will not have to do without these things as we turn into 2019. Kevin, thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you very much.
Can I make one comment besides just adding my thanks to Kevin? Some of you may not know that Kevin and I occasionally batted heads. I seem to have a reputation for doing that, but I can say that with Kevin, our differences of opinion about political things or philosophy never got in the way of what I think is a true friendship. I have great admiration for you, and want to just add my thanks, but also let you know that through the initiative of Mayor Kurt Ritter, there's going to be a bench placed at Giralda Farms in your honor.
You can go, you can sit on the bench and while away your spare hours, maybe looking for some Civil War tombstone or something. We can all go. This plaque is indicative of Kevin's service as mayor of Chatham Township and the years that he has kindly and generously served. It's a gavel. You can use it around the house. If you need any attention, when people need to speak with you, there you go. Perfect. Okay. Kevin, would you like to say a few words?
I guess I
Go ahead.
get to say a few words now.
It is the hearing of
30
citizens.
minutes. I made a speech last week, so I'll try not to make this a speech. And thank you for the reference to the funeral. I was starting to think it was an Irish wake here for a minute. Somebody started singing Danny Boy, I was going to cry. I haven't learned everything in 6 years, but the one thing I have learned is that oftentimes I always forget to do this. I never thank my family enough for taking the time away to serve the town. So I want to do that up front because they've been wonderful. Cindy has probably heard more about township business than she wants to hear or know. None of the executive session, but certainly has a great insight to what goes on in the town. And before I get started in talking about everybody else, because I always forget, thank you, honey. Thank you, family. I think they have appreciated my service, and I appreciate them supporting me in the service to the town. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown. I will try to make this fast. I jotted down a few things, but I don't want to make a speech. I just wanted to really pour out from the heart if I can, but a few reminders. I'm going to start with Albert, because when Albert started, I was mayor, and I made some reference to a famous line in a Shakespeare play about lawyers, and we've often joked about it. We've gone back and forth about it, but I'll tell you one thing Albert has taught me in this litigious world we live in. You know, I'm always from the scheme of thought that a good defense, the best defense is a good offense. And Albert has certainly taught me that in this world we live in, that a good lawyer is a great defender against the legal entrapments in world we live in. And he's always has had the best interest of the township at heart, whether on an individual basis or collectively telling us, you can't do that, don't say that, don't go to that meeting, don't do this, don't do that, you'll find yourself in trouble. And so I thank Albert for that. But truly his advice has always been with the best interest of the town at heart. And you couldn't ask for really a finer municipal lawyer. So thank you. John, I'll just go around the room. John Rushke, engineer. Might be the only engineer I know who has a sense of humor. Really, I know he's kind of dry, and people say he's tough, but he really does have a sense of humor. He's great. He's thorough. He's very good for the town. He is that first line of defense, and at times he has, even before they get to Tom, you know, they go through Tom. So he's the one that kind of you know, sometimes upsets people, but then he works it out with them, and I've seen him help more people than upset more people. So thank you for the work you do, and you've done great work with the roads and getting, again, always the best interest of the township, getting low costs. Quick story, John came to us and said, hey, you know what, the paving, the mill rate is really, it's low. We have an opportunity to take advantage of it here. You know, if you guys want to do it, let's add more to the budget. Let's pave more roads. It's at an all-time low. Let's do it. And we did. And that's good governance. But that comes from people who care about the town. So thank you. Greg, the consummate. 30 seconds? Yeah, thank you. Greg, better sense of humor than John, and because he's not an engineer, but Greg is the consummate professional. He's the face of the town. People come into the office. He does a great job, and he says he just, you know, he takes care of a lot of business, and he does it in a very professional manner and a helpful manner to towns and to us here on the committee. So thank you. I'll go in the back of the room. Rich Young, head of our public works, stepped in, took over. These guys are the unsung heroes. You know, they're not flashy. They're not out there. They're not, you know, they're not grandstanding. They're just going about the town, getting work done. Every time I've called Rich, you know, Rich, somebody up on 123, whatever the road might be, we got a problem. No problem. I'll get out there. I'll take a look at it, and it gets taken care of. And that's what makes Chatham a great place. So thank you to you and your team. You continually get it done. Chief Miller, this will be the third police chief now that I've had the opportunity to work with, and it just keeps getting better. Chief is a great leader. You can tell it. He has the respect of his men. Our police department, our community policing efforts, we continue to gather great members on the police department. They're friendly, they're helpful, they're respectful, they're conscious of who lives here and watching out for them and the interests of the town. He's done great work as part of the OEM team for the town, and again, working hard, as you heard tonight earlier, getting the FEMA money reimbursed. That's great work, and that comes from only people who care about the town. So thank you very much to the chief, and I'll add the volunteer. We had the chiefs here tonight from the volunteer fire department. You can't say it enough, all volunteer fire department, all volunteer. And these guys do, you know, tremendous things for our town. They're out there in the storms, nonstop, going around the clock, helping people. And, you know, they just duty, honor, and service. And the police department, our fire departments, our emergency workers, That's what they do. We ask very little of them, but what they do is their call is courage in the face of sometimes the known and oftentimes the unknown. But they do it well, and you have my utmost admiration, and I can't really put it into words other than to say thank you. So, great work. And so many volunteers, and I'll talk about all my friends in the Historical Society, wonderful group, great things for towns. Pat and Martha, wonderful job. Great historical presentations, check the calendar. I've said it before, we got to get this on, we got to get it recorded, we got to get it digitized. Just great history if you ever want to learn things about the township and the surrounding area. Just fantastic. But between the library and the Historical Society, the Planning Board, Joe Basarelli, and the great work he's done with open space, a lot of people want to throw credit at me, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work that Joe has done. Thank you, Joe, for that. All my friends at Joint Recreation, the Senior Center, just so many different elements that I've touched lives. It's been great. So thank you to all those people who serve the town. Who did I miss? Tom, I'll mention Tom. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Geralda. Again, a lot of people talk about Geralda, and it is fantastic what has taken place there. And I actually had lunch today with Terrence Nolan and talking about different opportunities and open space, et cetera. But Tom was at the top of his game during that whole process, and he got it done. So, thank you. And it's really important for the town. It really is a great accomplishment. You heard former Mayor Bailey Brower talk about it, and Nicole Hagner is here also, former mayor, and she did great work on the other side of Snake Hill Road, the Averett, preserving that land. This has just been so many good people that I've had the opportunity to work with. She is the head of our planning board and continues to serve the town just in such a wonderful way. But I would say to Tom, there's been so many good works, big things, small things. You've said it. We've taken a lot of important issues off the table. We've gotten them done. And I would just say I'll use the reverse of the famous Casablanca line for both of us. This is the end of a beautiful relationship. So, Tom and I, we have shared many lines back and forth at times, and he will appreciate this. Maybe all of you won't, but he will understand it. So I would just say to Tom, I'll leave you with this. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. And may you and Mary Beth stay forever young. And one more I would just say to the committee, and I just, some general advice to the committee as I sit here and offer it, because it's been asked for. And I would say don't be tempted. A lot of people, the distractions and the distractors of the day, fabricators, their interests are not those that advance the common good of Chatham Township. And I would just leave you with what I remember as the beautiful words that were spoke by Miss Alice Lunt, the First Lady, in many ways, of Chatham Township on the celebration of her 100th birthday, when she came to that microphone and basically said, continue to do the good works and the policies that you have in place. Continue to follow them. That is what makes Chatham Township a great town. So I would just leave you with that, to focus on the big things and not the small things. And for me, my time here was always about you. It was always about the taxpayer, the homeowner, the township. Always at the front of my mind was the township and what was best for the township. So I want to thank you all. God bless you all, and Merry Christmas.
Kevin, that's great. Thank you so much. good to know you won't be missed because it's good to know you're not going anywhere. This actually gives us an opportunity for a second hearing of citizens. Since there is time permitting, it's an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard to help facilitate an orderly meeting. Greg has some time cards there, so nobody talks too long. But we are certainly welcoming anybody who wants to come forward and say anything additional. Like Brooke. Brooke is counting. Hi, Brooke.
And if you forgot anything tonight, there will be 2 more meetings in January. My last meeting is not tonight, but January 24th. So we could have a sequel.
Because then we'll have a hearing of citizens as well, and that will be the long goodbye, Tom.
I predict there won't be many here.
Mrs. Nelson, do you want to step to the microphone?
She,
You can, yeah, that, can we do that?
Thank you. I would just like to add a thank you from the Library of the Chathams, because Kevin has been a remarkable ballast for us. We're going through some really interesting times, and we're trying to do something that I think is truly wonderful. But he has been wonderful to say, wait a minute, are we doing it the right way? Let's think about that. Should we do this? Should we do that? Kevin, you're going to be very sorely missed.
Thank you.
You have been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to give one more salute. I did forget someone. My fellow airman back there, fellow veteran, Tom Salvis, the Wizard of Oz. He makes it all happen. He's put the ratings through the roof. This is the #1 rated show on the Chatham Township channel. So thank you very much, Tom.
Karen, I guess I'll.
Thank you.
So I'll just, I'm not going to be very long because I get very emotional these days. I don't know why, so I'm not going to say too much, Kevin, because I might actually start crying myself. But it was an honor to serve with you for my last 2 years, and I guess I'm partly responsible for getting you also involved in politics. And thankfully, you did get involved because you have been an outstanding committee member, and you've always had the residents and the township in mind, no matter what we were doing, whether I was serving with you or even when I wasn't on the committee. And I don't think people truly appreciate all the time and energy that you and other committee people put in to ensuring that the town is run well and working with all the other, great people that run Chatham Township. I think, sometimes we don't even recognize ourselves as much as we should on what a great town this is, how well it's run, how, completely honored we all should be to be living here, just because of how well everything is done and how thankful we are that we have great people that want to, serve and continue to serve. You've done 6 years. Many other people have done many more years. Bailey was on the committee for 9 years, and it's just nice to see that people, 20 years, I don't know, 12, 20. You've been here forever, so but it was truly an honor to work with you, and yes, the town is a much better place because we were able to have you as an elected official, serving as deputy mayor and mayor. So for me, I say thank you, and Brooke did want to wish you well in your retirement, and hopefully you enjoy more time with your family. So she's very thankful to be here as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, seeing no one more come forward, we do not have executive session. That's on the agenda. We will remove that from the agenda. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Seconded.